So if you're looking to live near the Georgia Tech campus or maybe right next to Midtown, and maybe you're just looking for a great rental investment opportunity, well then you might be looking at the neighborhood of Home Park and wondering what's going on in that neighborhood. Well, that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to walk around some of the streets, show you some home examples, tell you what there is around there. So stay tuned. We're talking all about living in Home Park right now. Hey everyone, my name is Molly. Welcome to my channel. If you aren't following along yet, well, you should be. Hit that subscribe button so you can follow along about everything here in the Atlanta area. Today I'm over on the Georgia Tech campus. Well, I'm like right on the edge. I'm right off of 10th Street and their engineered biosystems building, whatever that is. So I want to talk to you about Home Park. I had someone that reached out and said, hey Molly, can you shoot me a video about Home Park? Yes, I can. Today is a beautiful February day. It is about 60 degrees, so I don't even have a coat on, and it feels glorious. The sun is shining. So yes, I'm going to take advantage of this day and shoot this video for you. Now, if you're wondering where Home Park is at, let me put it up on a map for you real quick. You'll see that it is just next to Midtown, just north of the Georgia Tech campus. It is between 10th and 16th Streets, bordered by I-85 and roughly North Side Drive. Actually, this neighborhood extends over to Howell Mill Drive, which has all of the restaurants and the trendy shops and everything. I have a whole vlog tour on what I called a West Midtown, and if you ever said West Midtown, everyone's going to think of the shopping area. So Home Park is more of the residential area. Now let me skip over the street, head over into the neighborhood. I'll tell you more about living in this neighborhood. So that Papa John's restaurant there off of 10th and State Street, that's actually owned by Shaquille O'Neal. So there's your little fun fact for the day. Okay, so Home Park, as you can imagine, because it is right next to the Georgia Tech campus, there's going to be a lot of students that live in this area. And I will say Home Park is not like the most put together neighborhood. Some of it is a little bit grungy. It reminds me of college, you know, college kids renting out a dilapidated house and having the best time. So you definitely find a lot of those kind of homes in Home Park, but there's some cute homes here too. But I would say the majority of the homes here are going to be older bungalows, like 1940 style. There's some newer homes that have been popped up, and some homes have been renovated. And I would say there are some townhomes kind of on the edge of the neighborhood. We'll talk about those in a little bit. And there's a few condos. And speaking of condos, I'm right behind one of the condo buildings in this neighborhood. This is the State Street condos. This used to be an old school built in 1911. It got converted over to condos. These are relatively affordable. They range in price from $275,000 to $295,000. They're mainly 2-bedroom, 1-bath or 2-bedroom, 2-baths. The HOA is pretty low at $300 a month. There is a pool. There are laundry units in each unit, so you don't have to worry about shared laundry or anything like that. They're not really super fancy inside, so if you're wanting like all the latest and greatest finishes and that kind of thing, you probably won't get that here. But for a cheap option, literally a block away from the Georgia Tech campus, you can't go wrong. Now, if you're wondering about the average sales prices in this neighborhood, well, for a single family home, you're looking around $575,000. For a townhome, that is about $675,000. Now, newer townhomes, those are going to get in the upper 800s or low 900s. And then condos, those are going to be in that upper 200K mark. Now, like I said, if you are looking to invest in this neighborhood, this could be a great spot because you would have, you know, pretty much a sure thing of someone wanting to rent out your place, because there's always college students needing to live in this neighborhood for proximity to the Georgia Tech. But that's the downside, is you've got college kids renting out your place, and you know, college kids don't always take care of things very nicely. So that is kind of the downside. But I had to laugh because I was driving around here before filming and I saw like a folded up ping pong table on this one front porch. I was like, yep, definitely college kids living here. Okay, I'm gonna keep walking a little further, show you a home example of some typical homes in this neighborhood. We'll go from there. So I just crossed State Street and 14th Street. You saw that Toast restaurant place. That's a good popular brunch spot. I will say, make sure you park legally because I just saw like several cars that had the boot on it. So just be cognizant of where you're parking that you are not going to get booted. Okay, so I'm coming up on some homes here. This is a cute little stretch. One thing I will say that there's a lot of fixer-uppers in here. So if you're looking for something to fix and flip, this could be a good spot. I would say things that are a fixer-upper are going to be under 500K. Most homes, I mean, there's some that aren't quite a fixer-upper, but they're going to be small square footage, and that's the nature of a lot of these older homes. They are just going to be smaller square footage. You're not going to get that gigantic homes, but there are some mixed in. But let me show a few home examples so you get an idea of what you get here. So this is a good stretch of home examples to show you where you're going to find some of these older 1940 style bungalows. They're probably 1,300, 1,400 square feet. A lot of these homes, they might be a little quirky inside. That's just how these homes were built, but some have been nicely renovated. I would say on average, you're going to pay somewhere in the low 600K price point. But in comparison, if you just jump across the street on the other side, I find a lot of these newer builds built in 2006 to 2010. These are going to sell in the upper 800K price range. Of course, they're going to be a little bit newer than a 1940s home, but I wouldn't say they're like the brand new finishes of 2024, but they're going to be nice inside, a lot of square footage, probably just over that 3,000 square foot range. So that's where you're going to get here in this area, a mix of old and new. So if you're curious about townhomes, like I said, most of the townhomes are kind of on the edges of the Home Park neighborhood. I'm right off of 16th Street. This is kind of the border on the north side. And to my right, these are going to be some townhomes built in 2004 with roughly 1,600 to 2,100 square feet, just kind of depends, 3 beds, 2 baths. They sell anywhere from the low 500s to the upper 500s. Now, right across the street, there's going to be another giant row of townhomes. These sell a little bit lower in the mid 400K range. They can be 2 bedroom, 2 bath, or 3 bedroom, 2 bath, but they're much smaller square footage at around 1,200 to 1,300 square feet. Now, I looked up some rental prices if you're kind of curious what do these rent for, and it's around that $2,500 to $2,700 in rent. Now, remember on all of these, this does have an HOA attached to it, so you have rental restrictions. So if you're wanting to just buy one and rent it out, you may be on a waiting list because they only rent out so many units at one time. So just keep that in mind. I talked to a lot of people who call me and say, Molly, I want to rent out my place when I buy it. You can't do it just that easily unless there's a rental permit available. And by the way, if you are wanting to move to the Atlanta area and you need further help with your home search, or reach out to me, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. Love to hear from you, have a discussion about what places might be the best fit for your lifestyle and your budget. So shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. All my contact information is down below. And if you have any comments about this video, I'd love to hear them. Put it in that comment section. I do look at those and I will respond to them. Now, if you're wanting something a little more fancy, right behind me, these white buildings, these are called the Atlanta Stacks. They live like a townhome. They are much more modern in style, and these were built, I can't exactly remember when they were built, but they are definitely newer, but these will run you up in the 800K price range. And right behind me, you'll see this giant condo building. I really love this building. It's called the Atlantic. They have some luxury condos in there. You get some fantastic views of the Midtown skyline. So if you're looking for a high-rise condo, that would be one to look into. And furthermore, right behind these townhomes and buildings, that is Atlantic Station. So this is where you can go and do a lot of shopping. There's a Target there, there's a Publix, there's kind of your general shopping like a Banana Republic, a Bath and Body Works, H&M. There's some restaurants around there too. This was built in 2005. They've done some updating over the time to keep it relevant, and they do different festivals throughout the year. They've got a big green space. They do an ice skating rink in the winter time. So yeah, it's a nice little outdoor hangout spot. I have a whole vlog tour of the Atlantic Station. So go check that out on my channel if you want to know more about living over in the Atlantic Station. I would say it's more of a shopping area and condos. And then if you're looking for townhomes, single family homes, then you need to skip over off of 16th Street and southward. And that's where you'll run into Home Park. Okay, so if you're wondering about grocery stores, I already mentioned there is the Publix grocery store in Atlantic Station. There's also a Target there. You can also pop over the interstate, get to the Whole Foods on 14th Street in Midtown. And there's a Kroger on Howell Mill Road near I-75. And you know, they were supposed to be putting in a Publix over at the big Interlock development right there in the West Midtown area. The latest I read is that maybe they're not going to be putting in a Publix. I think what I read was that the cost to put in that Publix was a little bit more than they had planned for. So it may not be a Publix going in there. It might be something else, like a Trader Joe's was rumored. I don't know. But anyway, that one is a TBD. One thing I'll mention is that Georgia Tech runs a Stinger bus line, and I was trying to look for it here on, I'm right on 14th and State Street, and they have a Stinger bus stop right here. I don't know if the sign is gone, but they usually have little signs where it says like Stinger bus pickup. And anyway, you can hop in that. You don't have to be a student at Georgia Tech, but obviously you'd be riding one of the routes that drops off around the Georgia Tech campus. But students, faculty, and the public can ride it. You don't have to show an ID or anything. So if you're looking for a bus shuttle, you can certainly hop on that. Oh, actually coming right up is the Stinger shuttle sign. I just found it right here on the corner of State and 14th Street. I'm just walking down a random street here in the Home Park area, and I will say there's a lot of streets just like this one where the streets are pretty narrow and there's going to be a lot of street parking, not off-street parking. So that's something to make yourself aware of if you're looking for homes in this area. This kind of street reminds me a lot of like Cabbagetown. You got homes really close together. They're really close to the street as well. So there you go. But let me show you a couple of places that are a little bit newer. So if you're wanting something on the newer side and more newly built, they have those here. I'm going to show you a couple examples and tell you what the prices are. So if you're curious about something that's built a little bit newer, this home right behind me, this was built in 2016. It's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, just under 3,000 square feet. It sold for $840,000, and it has kind of a typical open kitchen layout. It has hardwoods on the main level, carpets in the bedroom. It does have a garage. I will say it is on a very narrow street, but that's what you're going to expect for something a little bit newer in this neighborhood, and let me go show you something that's more of a brand new build and what you have to pay for that. It's just up the street. So my last example for you, this is a brand new build built in 2023, and this sold for just under $1 million at $995,000. It's around 2,500 square feet, has 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, has all the latest and greatest finishes. It even has a rooftop deck. It has large closets. I know everybody's looking for something like that. And you can see that this is kind of like a duplex. So you're going to share a wall, and these have been popping up everywhere kind of in this neighborhood. You can see they're building some more right next to it. So if you're looking for something like that, holler at me. I know the person that builds these, so I can get you in touch with them and see if one of these would be a good fit for you. So there you go. That's an example of something that's the newer build. And now I'm just going to walk over. Actually, I'm going to pop in my car and I'm going to head down to West Midtown, just so you can see, if you haven't seen my vlog tour of West Midtown, what's kind of right down there. And that's where all of the shops and fun stuff is like that. I mean, of course, like I said, there's Midtown as well, but I think everyone knows Midtown pretty well. So let me take you over to West Midtown real quick. To finish off my home park tour, of course, I had to stop over here in West Midtown, right off of Howell Mill Road. This is a cool, hip spot to hang out, grab some great dinners, a drink, some coffee, and it is built over kind of like this industrial area. In fact, there was a train that had just went by here before I started filming. So there's active train lines. It is, you know, old warehouses turned into kind of a cool, trendy hangout spot. So if you're looking for a cool date night, you definitely need to come over to West Midtown. Again, I have a whole West Midtown vlog tour if you want to go check out more, but this is a cool spot. And yeah, Home Park is just a very convenient location to Midtown, West Midtown, Atlantic Station, Georgia Tech. So hey, if you're thinking about making a move to the Atlanta area, whether that's tomorrow or next year, and you need more help with your future home purchase, reach out to me, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. Would love to help you out. But you guys, that's all for my tour today. I hope it was helpful for you. I enjoyed walking out in this nice, beautiful sunshine in February. So thanks for hanging with me. And hey, if you see me on the streets, make sure you say hello. And until next time, you guys, I'll see you around the neighborhood.